And now we get to see if this is going to fit. Apparently not. What's up, my nomies? Welcome back to the MT and me. Well, we're still in Pearl. It's still hot, so we might not be in here very long. But I am really, really excited, really jazzed, because I found something I've been looking for. I told you I had it, and here it is. It's the infamous curved piece of paneling that came out of Pearl. As things usually do, it was hiding in plain sight. I turned my workshop upside down looking for it, turned my Connex storage building upside down looking for it, turned the storage rooms looking for it, and all the time it was hiding in a corner of my kitchen behind another piece of very similar product. But this is it. This is that curve I've been telling you about that matches this. And the best way to show you is put it right there. Now you might be able to see it's not an absolute perfect fit along here. For one thing, there are staples stuck in this that I need to get out. Okay, get those out of the way. The second thing is this little cutout was actually made for this lip right there, but this is designed to fit against the ceiling that was in Pearl, because she did have a ceiling that curved down on each side and of course went all the way across. So there's a little bit more of a gap if you line that up. There's a good inch or so with just about a half inch between the metal supports and the top of this. So what I think the best thing to do, because I don't want to cut this up, you know, it's part of Pearl. We're going to keep it the way it is, but I will make a cardboard template. If you looked on the comments from our last video, Ree immediately commented, "I can't believe you lived with me so long and didn't make a cardboard template," talking about whenever I was trying to make these cuts here on the end of the 2x4. And I just kind of went, you know, sometimes you get focused on how you want to do something and you don't think about alternatives. And that's kind of the situation I was in. And it was hot and I wasn't thinking straight anyway. I probably still am not. I rarely do nowadays. But now that I've got this, it'll be a simple matter to transfer this to a piece of cardboard, and then that can actually be fine-tuned to this curve so that it does fit perfectly. And once I get that done, then I can take that and use it as a pattern for the end of my 2x4 braces. Now this one fits, but I cut that straight, so it's got a gap. I can put all 4 fingers through that gap. And now the support is still great because the weight is all along this part and not right there. But still, I would feel better if it filled the entire gap and fit perfectly against that beam. So that's the purpose of having this. So that's going to be our next step. Take this, get some heavy cardboard, transfer this to the cardboard, bring it out here, and fine-tune it to these actual bend in the steel supports going across the top of Pearl, and that will give us our pattern to cut the 2x4s. After that, we just have to get the 2x4s. Don't have them yet. But before we go too far with that project, you may remember me telling you my plan to use some mechanics wire and run along the roof line to support all of this loose, sagging aluminum on the very top. Well, I've ordered the mechanics wire. It's not here yet, but it will be, and that has to be done before I can really get serious about making these braces and putting them up. So the next really, I guess, elaborate project we do, I think anyway at this point, is going to have to be getting that mechanics wire in and installed. I'm still thinking about the best ways to secure it on the ends and to tension it. So tossing around a few ideas there. If you can think of something, please put it in the comments for this video, and I promise you it will be seriously considered and taken into account whenever we get around to that project. So when that piano wire comes in, that probably is going to be the very next thing structure-wise that we actually do here in Pearl in order to continue our work on the roof. But I am so glad that I found this, because I knew I had it. You know, when you have something and you're looking for it, and you can see it in your mind, you know that you laid eyes on it recently. You know, you can just imagine seeing it, you know, holding it in your hand and seeing it. And that's the way it was with this. I just couldn't remember where. Now, maybe that's age, forgetfulness, too much joy in younger years or something. I don't know, whatever. But it's the way things are. So I was thrilled to death to uncover this, really by sheer accident. And you could have seen me dancing around the room. Of course, I didn't have a camera on, naturally. But anyway, I was doing the Charlie Brown happy dance about it. So, and so we've got it now. We have it now. We can make the cardboard copy of it and use that to fine-tune and get an exact fit on these without having to get up there and do all kinds of funky measurements and take a protractor and figure out what the curve is. And you know, that would actually involve calculus, I think, and I was pretty bad in calculus in school, so we won't go there. But now, I've got what I need to make it, and that pleases me very, very much. So, that's the next step, making the cardboard template. Just had to share that with you. Now, it's hot. I'm going to go in and maybe see if I can find some cardboard to make that template out of. Catch you later on, okay? Now, the other thing I want to do this week is take a closer look at Pearl's roof. We've been looking at the roof from the inside for a couple of weeks now. I want to look at the outside. I've talked about the condition it's in and how it needs to be resurfaced, but there are several openings that need to be covered up before we go much further with that, and just a little bit of work that needs to be done before we're ready to even think about coating it. And that's in addition to what's got to be done on the inside. Okay, so what do you say we take a close-up look at a few of the problems here on top of the roof? One of the very first things I told you was that we have a cement block holding a cover in place for where the refrigerator used to vent. Pearl, like just about all RVs of her time, and many still, had a gas-powered refrigerator, and that required a vent because there's a heater there. Well, this is where the vent's cut out, and I have it covered in plastic, covered in a metal tray, and then the brick sit on top just to hold it in place. Well, that entire hole has to be patched, of course. The big spot out in the middle is where the air conditioning unit was sitting. Now, of course, we want to put an air conditioner back in Pearl. Whether or not it will be this unit or something else, and whether or not it will be on top or somewhere else, all remains a big question right now. On the other side is a couple of other holes that are covered up, and those are where the drain vents came up through Pearl that we took out for the bathroom and also the kitchen sink. There's a smaller one up in the corner that you can see there probably as well, and that is where there was an opening for a CB antenna wire to go down into the cab and go to the radio. The other small gap up here that you see right here in the corner is where the television antenna was. And here again, there's a round hole there and several smaller holes around it that were holding it in place. That all has to be covered up with a patch. And then up on the fiberglass end piece, you can see the vent that's up there. It is in bad shape. It has to be completely replaced. Right now, as you can see, the plastic covering it is in bad shape, which explains some more of the rain leakage. I need to redo this plastic or get something else. Probably get a large tarp to cover this top. Now, as for the roof itself, you can see there are numerous pits in it. Pearl sat outside for a long time, and she weathered many hailstorms. And that is where all of these little individual dents have come from hail falling on her. Those will be taken care of by whatever coating we decide to put on top, so I'm not too concerned about that. This is some of the problem that I'm hoping using the wire, the mechanics wire inside, will help to solve, to help to even this roof out a little bit and to give it a lot more support so that you don't have this looseness to it as it's just sitting on top. So as you can see, there's a lot of work that needs to be done up here. I would say we definitely have the job cut out for us. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done up here. As much work on the outside as there is on the inside. But you know, in any kind of structure, whether it's an RV or a trailer or a house or a skyscraper, the roof takes a lot of abuse, and it has to be designed to and reinforced in order to stand up to the weathering, because it's kind of your first defense when it comes to rain and hail and sleet and snow and anything that comes from above, you know. So it's only natural that it has taken a lot of abuse. With Pearl setting up for so long, the fact that she's over 40 years old, and as near as I can tell, aside from a little resealing here and there and a few modifications, she really hasn't had anything done to the roof in all that time. So it's time for us to do something. The plan is to settle on some sort of roof coating material, and we'll get it coated and sealed completely. But before we do that, we've got to be sure all the holes are covered up, all of the extemporaneous parts that are still on here are removed, and we have to have a plan as to, well, where we might want to put stuff, like the air conditioner, for example. Do we want to leave that hole or not? And the vent, of course, will have to be replaced as well before we do, or in the process of doing a roof covering. We might actually do the covering and then install the vent, but that remains to be seen. So the timing is going to be important as well. So there's a lot to consider here. But I wanted to show you the roof condition, and so you'll have a better idea of what I'm talking about when I say she needs just a little attention on the top side, okay? So we will continue working on the inside to better support this roof from the bottom. And once we get that taken care of, we'll turn our attention to doing a little surface work on the top, resurfacing, and getting her nice and sealed and watertight. Until then, I probably should look into getting, I don't know, about a 12-foot by 20-foot tarp or something like that to get her completely covered up and strapping that in place. That will definitely help to keep things dry on the interior. Maybe we'll do that next week or the next. We also have that mechanics wire coming, so that project is also coming up in the near future. And don't forget, like I said earlier, I am very open to your ideas and suggestions about attaching that wire to the framework inside. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you would do in that situation. I really want to hear from you. Leave your comments below, please. I need some help. Okay, one more thing today. Let's see if this fits. That's important, you know. I think it's perfect. So that gives us our guide for cutting 2x4s, and something that we can easily work with. It's lightweight, easy to handle, and it is a perfect match with the curve, and it fits up in there. So when we get ready to do some cutting, that way it'll be a lot easier, and it will go a lot quicker. So that's going to put the wraps on this week. We looked at the roof from the inside and from the outside. We got our cardboard guide made, a little bit of progress. And as I said earlier, hopefully next week we will have the mechanics wire in. Maybe we can start working with that. Give me your thoughts and ideas. Below you'll find links to Buy Me a Coffee, also to the mtandme.com, and to our Facebook page. So I hope you'll be here next time around. maybe we'll do some wire work on the roof right here as we continue to restore this beautiful vintage mobile traveler motorhome. Good old Pearl. Till next time around, thanks again for watching. I'm Russ. We'll talk later.